Hi, welcome to Mathematics with Tom. I am Tom, and this is my first video in my statistics class. We're going to start with what's called the dot plot and the histogram. So let's come over here, and that's going to be our title, the dot plot. The dot plot and the histogram. So statistics is about data, and at this point we aren't even going to calculate a statistic, but the place where we often begin, and where we're going to start today, by organizing our data. So that's where statistics is. That's where we're going to begin today. So in order to do that, what we need is a data set. So you can use lots of different data sets. Today we're going to use a simple data set. It has a lot of values. Let me think. How about this? How about we have a data set that has a 3, maybe a 1, 4, maybe a 1, 5, 9, 2. Let's see, how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 2. How about a 6? Maybe a 5. 3. How about another 5? We don't have an 8. Let's put an 8 and a 9. We'll keep it to single digit. 9. Maybe a 7. Maybe another 9. What do we have there? How about a 3? We started with a 3, so we need another 3. Maybe a 2, 8. Maybe a 3. How about a 4? Maybe a 6, 2. Let's put some even numbers in here. Maybe a 6 and a 4, and let's put another 3. No, how about another 3? Maybe an 8. 3. Let's start with a 2. Maybe we'll do a 2, 7, 9. How about a 5? Maybe a 0. Maybe a 2, 8, 4. What else? You know what? We haven't had a 1 for about a while. How about a 1? Maybe a 9, 7, and a 1. There. That'll be our data set for today. Let's use these numbers. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a dot plot. So come over here. I'm going to title that. This is going to be my dot plot. And here's how this works. We're going to start with a number line. So I'm going to make a number line, and I'd encourage you to do the same. And if you're working on a piece of paper, maybe create your dot plot here, and then down below we're going to be putting a histogram. It's sometimes nice to see them vertically arranged, but for sake of space, I'm going to make my dot plot here, and I'll have a histogram soon to follow. Okay, and notice that our numbers, our lowest number, so this is my minimum number here, is my 0. And if I look at it, what's the largest number? It looks like the largest number that I have is a 9. I'll call that my max. So I have all the way from 0 to 9. So I'm going to leave myself some space. Notice that if I went to 0, here's my 0. Let's think about, leave room for a -1 if we need it. Never know. And then let's put our numbers down. So there'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. I'll go one more out. So 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Okay. Now, and we'll start. Let's label these. It's easier to see. 2, 3, Sure, why not? Let's label it. There. So there's my number line. That's all I've done is I've created a number line, and we'll even just write that. That's all this is. It's just a number line. Now, here's how we make a dot plot. For each data value, this is our data set. I'm going to even label that. Let's just call it right here. We'll call this exactly what it is. We'll call it data set. So what we're going to do is for each data value, we're going to place a dot over the number line. So these aren't just numbers anymore. These numbers here, they represent the data. So these are our data down here. Data values. So you should always label our numbers. So those are our data values. These are our data values. Okay, and before we go on, let's actually make sure we spell our vowels as values. Okay, so here we go. This takes a little bit, so I'll get you started, and then you can finish this. So here we go. We're going to start 3. So I'm going to put a little line through these as I go to help kind of keep track. So 3, and then I put a dot over the 3. And then I go, my next one here is a 1. So I'm going to put a circle over the 1. Then I have 4 and a 1. I can keep track of that. A 4. And another 1. Now, when you start going up, you want to be pretty systematic. So, maybe your first dots all line up at about this height. Second, if you have a second layer, maybe a third layer, and so on like that. So 1, 4, 1. We've got 5, 9, 2, 6, 5, 9, 2. 6. So I've used all of those. 5, 3, 5, 5, 3, 5, 8, 9, 7, 9, 3. Okay, I can do that. 8, 9, 7, 9, 3. Okay, so I've used that whole one. 2, 8, 3, 2, 8, 3. I'll do that. 2, 8, 3. Then here, 4, 6, 2, 6, 4. So I have a 4, 6, 2, 6, 4. My next line, 3, 3, 8, 3. I have a 3, 3, an 8, and 3. Okay. 2, 7, 9, 5. 2, 7, 9, 5. And here we have 0, 2, 8, 4. Ooh, 0, 2, 8, 4. And then my last 4 digits, I think we said were 1, 9, 7, 1. That's my dot plot. Now, let's use this dot plot to construct a histogram, and that's what we're going to come over here and do. This part is the histogram. From a dot plot. Oops. A histogram from a dot plot. So, once we make a histogram, we lose the individual values and we put them into classes. And we're going to see that formed in a moment. And in order to do that, what you have to decide is you have to decide how wide you want your classes. And so even before we've made a class yet, we're going to start with what's called a bin. And so we're going to say that we want our class, or bin width of 2. Okay, so we want a class width. We want either we'll call it a class width or a bin width of 2 units. The next thing is we always start our histogram half a unit below the minimum. So let me make that note. So start half a unit below the minimum data value. And this needs a little clarity, and let me show you why. Our data set here is in whole numbers. So that if I want to look at between whole numbers, I would be looking at a half of a unit. And I'll show you that visually. So if we come over to our dot plot, here's our minimum. Our minimum, and let's label it. We have it labeled in the data set. I'm going to just label it here. So here is our minimum. And what we want to do now is we're going to create bins. We're going to create bins. And the bins, though, we don't want to kill any dots. We don't want a bin that would slice a dot in half, because then would this dot go into to the right, or would it be counted to a left? Or I'll show you. So we said our data is in whole numbers, so we're going to start half of a unit below that. In other words, we're going to start at right here at negative 0.5. We could just write it as half. Negative, all right, now I'll do this. Negative 0.5. So what we're going to do now, and I'll use this in another color. I like this pretty blue. So how about for our bin, we know it's going to be 2 units. So it's 2 units from the half. So it'd be 1, 2. So it's going to go to 1.5. And the bin would encapsulate all of those dots. Now the height of this isn't really important. I'm just drawing it for effect. We're going to have a height that does matter when we get to the histogram. So our next one is going to be 1, 2 units above that. So here at 3.5. There's another bin. And the next one will go from 3.5 to 4.5. It'll be at 5.5. So I'll just make it like this, bring this up. Next one goes from 5.5, it goes 6.5, 7.5. And, oops, let me label that, 7.5. 7.5, 8.5, it goes up to 9.5. And there we are. We can stop there because now we have accounted for all of the dots or the data values in our data set. Now, I want to show you one little piece that can sometimes be difficult. And let's come over here. Let's say, suppose your minimum value, let's see, example, is, let's say our data values, data in tenths. And so if I had a number line, and then my minimum, say my minimum is right here. Say it's something like 1.1, and this is 1.2, and so on. Maybe there's 1.5, 3. And let's say this is 1.2 is our minimum data value. In this case, since our data is in tenths, we would be starting our bin. So since our data is in tenths, we're going to go, our half of a unit will be out into the hundredths column. So if what's right in between 1 and 2, 1.1 and 1.2 would be 1.1, and then we go into our hundredths column to get 1.15. Okay? So that's how you want to account for this as you go. So here we go. I think we're ready to make a histogram. So these blue pieces here are called, let me write that. I'll write it. These blue numbers are called class boundaries. Class boundaries. And it's the class boundaries that form our number line for our histogram. So now we have everything we need. Well, at least most of it. So I'm going to make my histogram, and it's going to start much like the Dotplot did. A horizontal line. And now, remember when we made the Dotplot, if we look over here, we labeled our number line. Our number line were the data values. Well, this time we're not using data values, we're using class boundaries. So let's label our histogram accordingly. So our histogram would be labeled class boundaries. And it looks like we started at negative, I'll put it probably right here. We started at negative 0.5, and then how many of these did we have now? Notice if we look over here, we have how many? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 values. So I'll go about like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Probably don't need all this. So I have 1.5, 3.5, 5.5, 7.5, and 9.5. Did I get all those? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Don't even need that one. Okay. So we also need a vertical axis this time. And the vertical axis, we'll put it here. The vertical axis is called frequency. Frequency. Let me write that over here. Frequency is how often a value occurs. Okay, so let's come over to our dot plot. Notice that our dot plot, for example, a data value of 0, it has a frequency of 1. There was only 1 0 in our set. Data value of 1 occurred 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So that's what the frequency is. But now we're not looking at individual, we're looking at groups of data. So in this first class, this first bin here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 is the frequency of my first class. I have 5 dots. So let's go 0, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know how high, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I hope that's going to be high enough. What's my biggest one? What do I have there? 4, 10. I think think that'll work. Okay. Yep. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here at 5, what we would do is we're going to make a, and you don't have to make a dotted line, I just do this so I can kind of help see what I'm drawing for.
It's going to go to 12. No, I don't know if that's a problem.
10, 11, 12. Perfect. Look at that. Okay, so 5, and then we continue this process. I would encourage you even maybe to stop the camera, or stop the video, not you, but stop the video and see if you can complete the last remaining bins yourself, and then when you get yours done, then come check and see if you get the same result. But I'm going to continue making mine now. Here we go. So I look at my next bin. My next bin has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 12 data values. So here's my 12 is way up there at the top. So this bin is going to go all the way up to 12. Okay. And then my next one has, looks like we have 8. So 5, 6, 7, here's an 8. So this bin's going to come up to 8. And my next one has 6. So let's do 6 here. And my last bin has 4, 5, 9. Looks like it is 9. There we go. And that's a histogram. And if you have lots of pretty colors, like I do, you could, oftentimes you'll see these color, maybe you could use, I'm not going to color it all in, but you could use cross shading, or you could kind of blend it a little bit if you like. So make your histograms pretty, because the big point of a histogram is to be able to easily visualize the data set. So whatever you do, make your histogram so that the data is very clear what you're up to. Remember, the more clarity you provide, the better your graph. So always err for clarity. Finish coloring mine. I hope you, it's not very often anymore in school you get to make color or make pretty pieces, so take advantage of this. And we'll make the last one in white. And there we go. And that is how you make a histogram from a dot plot. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.